Hello students, my name is Professor Srinivasaya, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English, Government First Aid College Gubi. This is session number 33 and in this session I will be presenting my PPT on the poem To His Coy Mistress written by the poet Andrew Marvell. This is the first BA option English and first semester prescribed by Tumkur University. The learning outcomes of this session are to make the students familiar with the metaphysical poetry, to enable them to understand the themes of the metaphysical school of poetry, and to enable them to estimate and interpret Andrew Marvell as a metaphysical poet. These are the themes of Andrew Marvell. He deals with the themes like love, romance, death, philosophy, and etc. Let me just give a brief introduction to Andrew Marvell, the poet. Andrew Marvell was an English metaphysical poet and politician. He sat in the House of Commons at various times between 1659 and 1678. During the Commonwealth period, he was a colleague of John Milton. Now, this is the short summary of the poem To His Coy Mistress. The poem is a cavalier poem written by Andrew Marvell, a writer and politician. The poem was published posthumously in 1681, that is after his death. It is considered as one of Marvell's finest poems. It was written at the time when Marvell was serving as a tutor to the daughter of the retired commander of the New Model Army, Sir Thomas Fairfax. The speaker of the poem starts addressing a woman who has been very slow to his romantic advances. In the first stanza, the speaker describes how he would pay court to her if he were to be unencumbered by the constraints of a normal lifespan. He could spend centuries admiring each part of her body, and her resistance to his advances would not discourage him. In the second stanza, he laments how short life is. Once life is over, the speaker contends the opportunity to enjoy one another is gone, as no one embraces in death. In the last stanza, the speaker urges the woman to requite his efforts and argues that in loving one another with passion, they will both make the most of the brief time they have to live. Now, after this brief summary, let me elaborate the theme and structure of the poem through analysis and discussion. The poem is a carpe diem poem, that is, love poem. Following the example of Roman poets like Horace, it urges a young woman to enjoy the pleasures of life before death claims her. Indeed, the poem is an attempt to seduce the titular coy mistress. In the process, however, the speaker dwells with grotesque intensity on death itself. Death seems to take over the poem, displacing the speaker's erotic energy and filling the poem with dread. To His Coy Mistress is a love poem. It celebrates beauty, youth, and sexual pleasure. However, the speaker of the poem is haunted by mortality. Though he imagines a luxuriously slow love that takes thousands of years to reach consummation, he knows such a thing is impossible. He will die before it can be accomplished. Death cannot be delayed or defeated. The only response to death, according to the speaker, is to enjoy as much pleasure as possible before it comes. He urges the woman he loves not to wait, to enjoy the pleasures of life without restraint. The poem draws a contrast between the kinds of love, the full, rich love that would be possible if everyone lived forever, and the rushed, panicked love that mortal beings are forced to enjoy. The first stanza of the poem poses a question: and explores a hypothetical world. What would love be like if humans had infinite time to love? In response, the speaker imagines a world of unlimited pleasure. For example, he describes his mistress finding precious stones on the banks of Ganges. He describes himself spending 200 years praising a single part of her body. The speaker has no question about whether his mistress deserves this long courtship, but he does have qualms about its viability. He is always conscious of the passage of time and thus of the fact that both he and his mistress will eventually die. Stanza 2 diverges from the beautiful dream of stanza 1, reflecting instead on the pressing, inescapable threat of death. Death, as the speaker imagines it, is the opposite of the paradise presented in the stanza 1. Instead of endless pleasure, it offers deserts of vast eternity. The speaker's view of death is secular. He is not just afraid of going to hell or being punished for his sins. Instead, he fears death because it cuts short his and his mistress' capacity to enjoy each other. In death, he complains, her beauty will be lost, and unless she consents to have sex before she dies, her virginity will be taken over by worms. In the final stanza, the speaker finally announces his core argument. Since death is coming, and since it will strip away the pleasures of the flesh, his mistress should agree to have sex with him soon. He imagines that their erotic sport will offer compensation for the pain and suffering of life. In conclusion, we can say that though the poem handles love as the main theme, in the beginning we can understand that the poet is actually elaborating and highlighting love as the main theme. But as the poem advances towards the third stanza and end of the poem, one more major theme enters, and it takes in the place of love, that is death. Through that, the poem also becomes very philosophical because it handles one of the major issues of the mortal world. So, in conclusion, thus, though the poet or speaker does not imagine that their pleasure will defeat death, he does believe that pleasure is the only reasonable response to death. Thank you.